What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the 715 Bucks Tailgate Talk podcast as part of the Man Cave podcast that is brought to you by Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to both the Man Cave podcast and the 715 Bucks Tailgate Talk podcast. Bucks-wise, you have the Bucks picking up a pair of victories over the last couple of days. Friday night, he had the win against the Washington Wizards, against good friend Chris Middleton, 104-101. Middleton making things a little bit close there at the end, and Middleton missing the three-pointer, game-tying three-pointer at the end against his former team. But you have Giannis right now that's on a minutes restriction, dealing with that calf injury, which if the Bucks get away with it and kind of tread some water and still be maybe getting that 4 spot when it comes to the playoffs and pick up these wins, whatever can get him ready for the postseason and make him as healthy as possible in that postseason, right? I mean, 32 minutes yesterday, so went a little over the minutes restriction there, so maybe he's getting up there, but coming right after the All-Star break, he was on a minutes restriction. But the two players I kind of want to talk about when it comes to the Bucks is two newcomers, and that's Kyle Kuzma and Kevin Porter Jr. Two guys that I think have made early impacts on this ball club, and hopefully it'll just continue to get a little bit better, even more better as we go through here. Especially if especially if the Bucks kind of continue to monitor Giannis's calf, and I know Dame's a little bit banged up with his hamstring and such. If they are gonna kind of watch it, 26 games left in the regular season here. They want to make sure those guys are healthy. When it gets to the postseason, we know Bobby Portis is serving a suspension right now. So to see Kyle Kuzma and Kevin Porter Jr. kind of come in right away and really, I don't know if I want to say make their mark, but just give us some good overall impressions right away, I think is a nice confidence boost as a Bucks fan. But also, I mean, this John Orst and the Doc Rivers and the team, bringing in a couple of new guys. Not sure how the rotation is going to work and such. I think that's got to give them a lot of confidence that these two guys have been able to be contributors right away coming onto this new team. You look at Kyle Kuzma. His first game against the Timberwolves, he plays 39 minutes, scores 19 points, 13 rebounds, a double-double. Clippers, just 13 points in 37 minutes. Against the Wizards, against his old team, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. And then the Heat last night, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. You're getting, what's the big thing that pops up there when you see Kuzma's numbers? And kind of compare it to Middleton. Not trying to pick on Middleton by any means, but it's minutes. It's minutes. Right? I mean, that's what I'm looking at. It's like, oh yeah, okay, this guy's able to play 30+ minutes a night. Younger, healthier. We can rely on him. He's available to do that. I mean, since the trade, Middleton's played 1 game, and it was against the Bucks on Friday night. So you look at this, it's like, okay, dude's available. And he's putting up double-digit points on a consistent basis. And I know when Middleton, the last 5 games when he was playing with the Bucks, he'd have those 20-point games and then followed up with 0. Remember? It was like 20 points, 0. 20 points, 20 points, 0. But, again, minutes. You probably only talk about 20-some minutes, maybe not even playing a back-to-back. You don't have to worry about that with Kyle Kuzma. And I'll admit it, when the trade happened, I was kind of like, meh. Okay. I mean, it wasn't a Zach LaVine. I mean, everybody knows who Zach LaVine is, and a great player, an athletic player, and maybe fills a need at the 2-guard spot and such. But overall, first impressions since being acquired, I got to give it thumbs up for Kyle Kuzma and what he has done for the Bucks so far. Got to give it a thumbs up. Just the availability and able to play, 35 plus minutes. We're talking about average. That's a huge boost. It's a huge difference than what Middleton was given this team. And then the Kyle Porter trade, Kevin Porter Jr. trade. See, I got a bunch of K's here. Kyle, Kevin, Chris. But the Kevin Porter Jr. trade. That one, it didn't move the needle for a lot of people. Marjon Beauchamp gets traded to the Clippers for Kevin Porter Jr. And it's like, oh yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. was originally drafted by the Bucks. It was draft day trade and that. So kind of like a full circle type of moment there. But there really wasn't a whole lot of hoopla, excitement. It's like, oh, okay. We weren't getting a lot of playing time from Marjon Beauchamp, so giving him a fresh start and bringing in, Kevin Porter Jr., who's been in the league since 2019. And he's only 24, still only 24 years old. But what he has been able to provide coming off the bench here for the Bucks, as of late, I think is pretty noticeable here too. And, for Doc Rivers' sake, for the coaching staff, you bring in Kyle Kuzma, it's like, oh yeah, he's probably going to be a starter. We know he's going to get a lot of minutes. But when you bring in a guy like Kevin Porter Jr., it's like, okay, maybe you're not quite sure how he's going to work within the rotation, how it's all going to play out. It's just kind of like, we'll see how it goes type of feel. But you look at the last 4 games he has played. He's had some big moments. T-Wolves last night too. Kind of like a little bit of an Energizer bunny there for the Bucks against the Heat. But he has been a nice, consistent presence for this Bucks again too. You go from Marjon Beauchamp, who was practically giving you nothing in terms of minutes and getting opportunities, to a guy now who's giving you double-digit minutes off the bench. Last night, 14 minutes, 11 points. Washington, 23 minutes, 12 points. 15 minutes, 13 points against his former team, Clippers. 22 minutes against the T-Wolves, 11 minutes, and that was the game. Remember, it was like no Dame and no Giannis. It's like, who the heck's going to play? You ain't going to win that one. And he was a factor in that game. So, the Bucks got, one thing that some Bucks fans from you, that a lot of you listeners chimed in, is like, I'd like another, maybe backup guard or some depth at that position. And maybe you got it with Kevin Porter Jr. This month, he's averaging 10.4 points per game, and I know he had a 17-point game earlier on in the month of February against the Raptors. But this is a guy that is getting a bigger opportunity here, and is maybe being asked to be a little bit more of a contributor. And he's shown some flashes. Back in January, he dropped 26 against Boston. This is a guy that's going to potentially get you double-digit points. So this was a move that I think kind of flew under the radar a little bit. It's like, oh, okay. Don't know a whole lot about it. Maybe it's a swap for guys that aren't going to play a whole lot. Right now, I think this was a nice. So I don't want to say winner, but maybe if I had to say, who won this trade in the early impressions sort of thing. I'm not saying that the Bucks won this trade yet, but I'm just saying it sure looks like they won a trade with Marjon Beauchamp and Kevin Porter Jr. So early impressions, I think early returns right now, you got to be thumbs up. Now, does it make me more confident that they can advance deeper into postseason? TBD. To be determined. Too early to tell right now. I don't know yet. But I think one of the interesting things with this movement with some of these acquisitions and some of these trades, you're seeing a little bit of a different rotation when it comes to Bucks. I mean, just look at these last couple of games, for example. Okay, some interesting stuff. I mean, Giannis, if we go back to the Wizards game, okay, Giannis is in there, Brooks in there, Kyle Kuzma's in there. Okay, cool. Dame didn't play in the game. So what did they do? They threw in A.J. Green in the starting lineup and Ryan Rollins. Not Andre Jackson Jr. Andre Jackson Jr. came off the bench and played 3 minutes. Pat Connaughton actually got 11 minutes in action. Okay? And he was like getting nothing. And then he gets Miami. Okay? Andre Jackson Jr., just 2 points coming off the bench. This was a guy who was getting in the starting lineup because he was providing some athleticism, some youth in the backcourt. But in this Miami game, maybe their typical starting lineup was Prince, Giannis, Kuzma, Lopez, Dame. Gary Trent Jr., 23 minutes off the bench. A.J. Green, 30 minutes off the bench. Jericho Sims getting an elevated amount of playing time. He was another new acquisition from the Knicks by the trade deadline because of the Bobby Portis suspension. But then Kevin Porter Jr. So, I mean, with these moves, a guy like Andre Jackson Jr. has kind of fallen out of the rotation a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot, actually. You look at his last couple games. 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Minnesota had 19 minutes, but that's because a lot of guys didn't play in that game. So, is it kind of a glimpse of how the rotation is going to go forward? Is it just, Doc and the coaching staff trying to figure out some of the new guys and how that rotation will play out? Maybe a little bit of both here. But you look at production, and you look at production in their careers, Kevin Porter Jr. has definitely played longer, but he's been more of a consistent producer than Andre Jackson Jr. Andre Jackson Jr. is a great athlete, provides some good defense stuff, has issues with staying out of foul trouble, can jump out of the gym, is a good defender. But right now you're looking at production, and Kevin Porter Jr. gives that to you a little bit more coming out of the backcourt. So early returns on these two guys, Kuzma, Porter Jr., big thumbs up. And hopefully they continue to get better, more comfortable. These guys, play ball with each other a little bit. Then maybe they could get in a little bit of a flow when it comes to the playoff time.